Alrighty. Hey everyone, and welcome to the crawl day. Much to really say about it. Just like the drift day, it is just a day of rock crawling for people on my Discord server. If you want to join, go to my Discord link in the description, join my server, and then in the Beam chat thingy, there will be all the information you need. Try to still get a couple things set up. Get to load this on my phone. Yeah, hopefully this goes well today. Come on, show up. I will, there we go, get into the hopper that I'm using in a moment. Just making sure all the audio and stuff is okay. Okay, there we go. Everything should be working fine. So, for the most part, I will just be using my hopper that looks like Little Jeep. It has the crawler chassis stuff on it, so it's got the long arm and whatnot. 36-inch tires, I think. The SP winch mod. I forget who made it, but it's an awesome mod that is definitely needed in vanilla Beam. And then I made a few mods myself. This has locking LSD differentials, which is a pretty easy mod to make. Pretty much all the mods I made are just copying some of the normal game files and editing them. So as I said, LSD locking differentials, different colored coilovers, and then I put the tire pressure management system in it. I'm working on getting the GPS to work in the crawler variant. I put neon on it. No idea if it's showing up or not. Yep, you can see it kind of tucked down in there. And then of course the paint job that makes it look like Little Jeep. And then that's really all I've done for mods on this, I believe. I'm working on getting an antenna working and some other stuff, but either way. And then, so yeah, it's got pretty much just the normal crawler stuff, and then the inline-6 engine. And yeah, I went full crawler. It's like Little Jeep. Oh, all the doors. Yeah, I guess I might as well just kind of start playing around a little bit, wait for some people to join if they want to, and just kind of spend the day crawling. I'm gonna push my chair up a little bit. Loud chair. The crawl day, or the drift day went pretty good 2 weeks ago, but I was listening to copyrighted music. So unfortunately, it can't be posted. Oh, I also forgot that I'm using a custom automatic 6-speed. So as you can tell, it's got 1, 2, and then drive. For crawling, I wanted to have a reverse manual valve body, or semi-manual valve body. What that does is it puts 1 and 2 before drive instead of after. And the manual part, of course, makes it manual instead of automatic. That's just so that when I'm crawling, I can easily have only first or second, instead of it going up into the higher gears. And then if I need to, I can drop it down into neutral or reverse if I'm about to roll over. What else? There's not really anything else to talk about with this. Took the front sway bar off, some custom tuning and so on. Typically it has a roof in the full doors, but it's more fun to crawl around like this. And then, as you can see in the bottom, LSD, and then locked. Or in the top left, I guess it's easier to see. Yeah, I guess I'll just kind of get into this. I'm working on my own transfer case, but I can't quite get it working how I want it to. I'm hoping to make a Atlas 2 style so that we can have either rear wheel drive, front wheel drive, and then the typical 4 and 4 low. Because with being able to disable the rear drive, you can use the handbrake and do a dig. Like in a front wheel drive car. You hold the handbrake, hit the throttle, and it spins the car around. And that is very helpful when crawling. And then using line lock, you can lock only the front end, have it in two-wheel drive to the rear end, and then do a dig the other way. And then I will probably end up working on some kind of like four-wheel steer and all that. I'm still learning how to do mods and stuff, so I will get there. I also forgot to air down my tires, I think. Nope, they are around 8 psi. I'm also going to move the controller for the TPMS down into the cubby under everything rather than up on the dash, just because I think it'll look better. Yeah. This is pretty much all today's going to be, is just a few hours of crawling around on Johnson Valley. Exploring, seeing what kind of crazy stuff I can get myself into. I would put on some music in the background, but I haven't gotten a copyright playlist set up yet, so feel free to use like Spotify or something, or put on some music you enjoy in the background. And I'll probably switch between camera modes, third and first person. It's more fun driving in first person, but without a spotter, it is quite difficult. And in the hopper, it's kind of hard to see where you're going. And I'll, for now, probably just take the typical route that I like to take. I typically go up here, up to the top, and then I take the really steep way down, come back up it. Come on, up we go. Yeah, come back up the steep way, and then go down the opposite side over there, and then take a tricky way up the second mountain. I can't wait to finally get little Jeep back. My little RC Jeep is still on the other side of the country, and I'm trying to figure out how I can get it back. I didn't have time to grab it when I left BC, unfortunately. And then when I finally get a full-size Jeep, which I'm currently saving for, it will be done up in the same way. So the blue and white with, I don't know if I'll put Maxxis trapodors on it or not. I likely will. I'm not sure if I want to go with 41s like Little Jeep or 36s like this, but it'll likely end up being quite similar to this hopper, but hopefully a four-door. If I get impatient, I'll just get a two-door Rubicon. I literally, like, grew up in a Jeep, so I'm a little partial to them and absolutely love Jeeps. If you know how to drive it, even stock, they can get, within reason, anywhere you want. They're so much fun and so useful. Especially with a throttle controller, they can be pretty efficient and then quite powerful when you need it to be. Especially when you're in 4 low, you don't need tons of power and torque, and the engine, if you've got such a low range that the Rubicon has. And then I also do have nitrous because there are a couple spots where um, this just quite doesn't have uh, enough power or wheel spin to get up. It's like just a little tiny burst of extra power gets it up, but without that little tiny burst, it kind of makes it up, I don't know, 98%. I wish they would come back to the hopper, like the devs. I wish they would uh, update it a little bit because I kind of prefer the normal stock suspension on it, but the steering on the stock suspension setup is horrible. It bends and outright breaks way, way too easy. And then the inline six also needs some work. I've been trying to put the inline sixes from the ETK series cars, but I just can't get it to work right. I can get the engine in the hopper and like drivable and whatnot, but the J beams for them are all weird and hang out the front, and I can't like I'm not any good at Blender yet, so moving stuff around and figuring out the J beam is quite tricky for me. And then on my dad's Jeep, the real one that he used to have, excuse me, he also put, I think he had 33s on it or something, but either way, the aftermarket tires were too big for the center brake light. Like with this one, if you take off the normal tire mount, you have no center brake light. But for, at least where I am, in Canada, for a vehicle to be legal, you have to have a center brake light. So he took an LED brake light and put it on top of the tire mount just so it would shine through the rim. So his center brake light was behind the spare tire glowing through the wheel and it looked pretty cool. So I'm going to work on a mod for that as well at some point. And then I'd like to remove the panels off the roll cage and then do a few other different changes and stuff. Go up to the top of the first mountain already. You don't need massive tires for off-roading. Bigger tires just get you into bigger stuckness, bigger issues. Sure, if you're going over like much bigger obstacles and stuff, it's nice to have bigger tires, higher ground clearance, have your tires sticking up past the bumpers like my dedicated crawling hopper has the 42s, I think, and the tires stick out past the bumpers and stuff, so it has a perfect like 90-degree approach angle, whereas this could have a bit of a better approach angle and departure, but this one does amazing. I'd like to kind of change the exhaust as well, make a custom exhaust for it that's a bit more tucked up out of the way. Front tires grabbing under the rocks in a way it shouldn't, but it's, beam logic. I've been crawling in this game since before it was on Steam. And then another thing I wish is the old Jeep Cherokee mod. I wish that was still a thing. I'm sure it's still floating around somewhere, but it doesn't really work anymore and it's so outdated. But it was so much fun to drive around. Actually, my first quote-unquote mod was for that old red Jeep Cherokee. I changed it so it was LSD and lockers as well, and then changed the gear ratios. I took the dirt and stuff off it. I never released the mod because it was a mod of a mod, and I didn't want to like make the person angry and so on, but I just kind of personalized it for my own liking. My favorite thing about rock crawling is the technicality. Just trying to find the right line and stay smooth and crawl over stuff, and then watching the suspension flex underneath the vehicle while the body stays pretty much flat. It just looks so cool. I would like to somehow swap out the stock on the stock chassis, have a mod that changes the stock axles out for the D series axles, but I'm no good at connecting things and so on yet. I know how to do a few things in this, it's just learning how to properly get it to work and doing it. Yeah, as I said, I like going to the top and then coming down this steep part and then turning around at the bottom, coming back up it, and then going down the other side of this mountain and up that one. The specific route that I like to take up that one too. That's pretty difficult at a certain point. Sometimes I can just get all the way up with no issues, and then sometimes I just constantly roll. Just bottom of the first mountain again. There are probably going to be times where I don't talk much and just kind of drive quietly. It's not a whole lot to talk about while you're crawling. Go. The bottom of the first one. Oops. One issue with my automatic 6-speed is I tend to not shift down all the way into reverse when I go to back up. And then, just something I kind of find funny to do ever since my dad had his Jeep is the suspension like this. If you hold the brakes a bit, you can kind of lift it up and squish it down. I don't know why I find it so amusing, I just do. Yeah. Coming back up this side can be a bit difficult, so I'm going to lock the axles again, throw it into 4 low, and then probably use second gear. Nice thing with the automatic is typically in a vehicle, if you have an automatic with a quote-unquote manual mode, it'll still shift the gears lower than the one you select, but it won't go any higher. There we go. Now it should be in second. Hopefully I can get up here. Come on. Nope. Need a little bit more speed. Not sure if it was actually in second or not. Third might also help, but yeah, it looks like I'm gonna need third. It was doing it in second before, but whatever. Should probably look behind me while I'm going backwards too. Alright, I'm gonna throw it in drive this time and kind of do a bit of a neutral drop. On shift. There we go. A little bit of extra speed. There we go. Back down into first. Another thing that I kind of recommend if you are crawling with the first-person camera is using the relative camera. I'll show that really quick. So, 4, sorry, with the default camera layout, I believe. Either way, the number buttons change cameras. And then bring it over using the WASD keys. Bring it over to the seat, page up to bring it up a little bit. Do like so. You can move around like usual. However, you can also kinda, as if you're leaning out the window to see, I guess. Move it around a little bit more. It can be quite helpful. So I'm going to leave that there, but go back to normal first-person camera. I also need to keep an eye on my Discord, just in case. To a message really quick. It'd be nice if Beam wasn't shortening everyone's, or Discord, sorry, wasn't shortening everyone's tags to just one letter. No, don't roll. And there's the first roll. You're gonna roll all the way down? Yep. I just wasn't paying enough attention. Ooh. And that's why you have roll cages. It'll still bend, but better than, getting crushed. I'll just reset. I need to go back in and lower the tire pressure. The only annoying thing about using the TPMS is every time you reset, you have to lower your tire pressure again. But if you're like me and like playing with as much realism as possible and having your vehicle last as long as possible, it's quite handy. Because then you don't have to go into the tuning and change it and blah blah blah. I guess I'll come back up here again. It'd also be nice to make little things that go on the dash to have the pitch and roll, like on the bottom right, but actually on the dashboard. That'd be kind of cool. The newer Jeeps, the infotainment system has pitch and roll in it. Man, I wish I could afford a new Jeep. The new Wrangler 4xe Rubicon is just, in my opinion, amazing. It only has a 4-cylinder, but it's a turbo 4-cylinder. It'll lack torque because it's only 4 cylinders, but being a turbo, it's got like 240, 250 horsepower, I think. And then it also has a hybrid mode with a 200 some odd horsepower motor. And then the typical lockers and awesome suspension and stuff that Jeep typically has. To just kind of line myself up with this. So, I'm gonna turn on the neon because why not? I'd probably lower my tire pressure a little bit, but I'll likely have to give this spot a little bump anyways. I typically like 8, roughly 8 or 10 psi when I'm crawling. See if I can get this to go up smoothly without having to do a bump or anything. Yep, almost. There we go. You typically don't need to just, floor it and go all crazy while you're crawling. Just find the right line, search for grip, and you're good. Flooring it and going fast all the time is when you break things. And like I mentioned before, I like it. Slightly pull over. I like having the technicality and stuff. Come on. Push down. There we go. Plus, if you're going slow, it gives the suspension time to properly settle and stay level. Whereas if you're going super fast, it doesn't. Like this, I love watching the suspension move. Especially when you have proper legal steering. Where I am, you must have a physical link between the steering wheel and the wheels. So you have to have a tie rod and drag link. Tie rod goes between the wheels. This has two since it's hydraulic. And then the drag link goes up to the steering box on the chassis. But since this is hydraulic, it just has a hydraulic ram on it. My real Jeep, when I finally get it, will probably have hydraulic assist, which is quite nice on a street legal crawler. And then I'll be putting like long arms and coilovers on it and stuff as soon as I can. This is the spot where I typically have to use the nitrous, because as you can see, it doesn't quite go up all the way. I'm sure the V8 would, but I like having the 6-cylinder. That's what the original Jeep Rubicon came with, that's what Dad's had, just what I like. I like my inline sixes for some reason. I used to absolutely hate, like, front-wheel drive and little 4-cylinders and stuff, but as I've learned more about vehicles, I've come to quite like them. Let's try this again and give it a little bit of nitrous as we're going up, right here. And there we go, lift the front wheels up a little bit, but that's fine. I would love to get a bunch of people together and do a proper rock crawling video. Each person just patiently takes their time, takes their turns, use the excuse me, the replay mode to record, and then go back and use the cam path to make it look like it's actually recorded. People use first person camera and jump out when you're not driving and help spot each other and whatnot, like you do in real life. I think that'd be so much fun to do in this. One of my favorite parts of rock crawling is just watching other people tackle the obstacle and helping with spotting and stuff. I was spotting for my dad before I was even 10 years old, helping him get over obstacles and stuff. He'd line up the Jeep, tell me where he wanted to go, where he wanted the wheels to get to, and so on. And I just helped make sure he got to where he wanted to be, which is really all a spotter does. And then, run the winch line and stuff if needed. Since I'm in an online server, I probably won't end up using the winch because it's a pain in the butt to use. I typically, when I'm using the winch, will put it in park and stuff, put it into free spool, and then use the free cam with node grabber to pull it, pause the game, and then link the winch to whatever I'm trying to link it to. This part can be a pain in the butt too. If you go too far to the left in the rear, you go too far to the left, the rocks on the left will grab your wheel and not let you like turn or move and stuff. But if you go too far to the right, you can get on too much of an angle and roll. I just noticed in the recording, like stream, the Jeep looks purple. It's supposed to be blue. Could also just be my phone. For me, it's blue, like the neon. I'd also like to move the neon bars. I need to move the rear one up a bit and back, I think. And then the side ones are in a decent spot, but I could move those as well. And then, as I mentioned before, I want to put a antenna on the rear bumper and so on. I have it set up, I'll show really quick, so that things can be in their own spot, like the neon. I'm going to put the TPMS into here and a few other things, rather than having to make redundant parts, because like the body, to get the TPMS to work, I had to do a separate J-beam for the body, which is a pain in the butt, so that you can access the dashboard, because typically in the crawler chassis setup, with the cut body, you don't have a dashboard slot. But I had to move the shifter and stuff for that to work. So I'll probably move that into the additional mods part, and rename some things. Go down the back side of the mountain. Can't wait to get back into this stuff in real life, it's so much fun. We used to go up north every year, just do trails and rock crawling and stuff. One of my favorite places to go was, I think it was called Ardbeg in Parry Sound, Ontario. And we just hit the trails, go rock crawling and stuff. There was mining and blasting done, so there's lots of like steps and different places you can crawl up, and it's a lot of fun. Remember one year there was a bunch of drunk morons there drinking and driving and shit, and it doesn't matter whether or not you're on the road, drinking and driving's wrong. Even if you're in the middle of nowhere rock crawling, don't drink and drive, it's just stupid. But I was sitting well enough off to the side to be out of the way, but this one idiot, likely drunk, decided to be one of those people that lines up and then just floors it up the obstacle. And he nearly hit me, even though I was a good at least 10 feet out of the way. People like that just ruin it for everyone else. And it's like the place where I learned to drive ended up being closed off because of people going there and partying and destroying the place, when it used to be quite a nice place to go. Right, I'm actually going to disable the lockers, so I have the turning radius. Another nice thing about having limited slip is you can have them unlocked, but still use the brakes to put a little extra tension on it and have them lock up a little bit when you need them to. And then in real life, you can also get differentials that automatically lock up, which would be quite handy, but I like having my manual lockers. Check Discord really quick again, because I'm going to disable streaming mode so I can hear when someone messages me. Discord automatically going into streaming mode and muting itself is kind of nice, but yeah. Should also go into the voice channel on Discord in case anyone joins in. Ooh, just replying to a message really quick. Ugh, can't reach my fingers. Trying to hold, break, and use one hand to type. Ooh. Yeah, I can understand how for some or most people crawling would probably be boring just because you're going so slow and it's so technical and stuff, but that's the fun part of it. If you happen to be watching at the moment, I highly recommend checking out the four-wheel drive 24/7 channel, the guys in Australia. They are amazing at what they do and drive some really cool vehicles. Make really good videos, and they have like amazing gear that they use and give tons of different tips and tricks and stuff. And they're just hilarious to listen to. They're great. I wish I could meet them sometime, especially once I get a Jeep. And then, kind of get around this. Then I believe it's called. Oop, my lockers were already disabled. I want to go into 4 high. And then I believe there's another channel. I think it's called Big Tire Garage or something. It's done by Ian Johnson. I've been watching him do off-roading and building trucks and stuff literally my entire life, even back on TV. He used to be on Power Nation on Extreme 4x4, and that was just awesome to watch, but it's not really a thing anymore. He just kind of, I guess, does his own thing now. And then there's Ultimate Adventure, which I would love to take part in once I finally get my Jeep going. I could probably stiffen the shocks on this a little bit, but oh well. It's not really built for going fast or anything. This is built for basically being a rock crawler that's comfortable on the street, good for dailies. Which is what my real Jeep will be like. Basically, a tamed down rock crawler. I'm hoping to get a four-door unlimited if I can. I would love to get the older extended unlimited because it looks really cool and it's kind of rare. But I'm more going for the four-door unlimited. And if I do, I'm going to switch out the front end and put an older style front end on it. That's this series. The style I like is the like early 2000s TJ. I think it's a TJ. This part's pretty easy, just kind of getting over to the other mountain. Don't really need 4-low at the moment or lockers. This fork in the road goes to the same spot just over there, but I like to take this way. I am going to switch to 4-low and lockers for this part so I can straddle it a bit easier. So, oh, There are so many videos on YouTube trying to be like, oh, do this while you're crawling or off-road, don't do this while you're off-road, blah blah blah. From my experience, at least, I find so many of those videos to be wrong. Like, as long as you use common sense and don't do anything stupid, you're pretty much fine. If you're on mostly flat ground, you don't really need lockers. Like, I could probably be doing this with just... I am doing this without the lockers on, just the LSD. You probably could do most of this with open. And then, unless you're going up something really steep or over obstacles like this, you don't really need four-wheel low either, but no one knows your vehicle better than you. You feel like it's struggling a bit or using too much throttle to go over something, putting too much strain on things, use the drive mode you feel is best. Even if two people have the exact same Jeep, they rolled off the line one right after the other. After they do however many miles or kilometers, whatever, after personal upgrades and stuff, they will likely end up driving completely different from each other. Plus, driving style. So, another thing with rock crawling, or just driving in general, is learn your vehicle. Know how much throttle it takes to get to whatever RPM or power output. Learn how much brake you need to have whatever braking torque, returning radius, get a feel for how much flex it has, get a feel for the angle and rolling point. There were times in my dad's Jeep where I could have sworn we would have rolled, but nope. But then there was another time where we had I don't know, a 3-inch diameter tree stop us from rolling down a cliff. It was crazy. One of those moments where if you move, you're like, don't move. You just don't move. You have everyone around you kind of scramble for the towing stuff and help. I'm going to quickly change something in the video description. Bitrate is lower. Of course it's lower. It's always lower. Oh. Okay. Back to driving. Excuse me. I'm also going to open my monster in a minute or two, so if you might want to turn, or I'll let you know when to turn your volume down just in case it's loud. Like even here, I'm just in 4 low with the diffs unlocked and it's just crawling along nicely. Another thing is a lower ratio for your differentials. A higher number is a lower ratio. It's kind of weird. Like 4 low has a higher number, like ratio-wise, than like 2 high or 4 high. But the lower your differential is, the more torque you'll have. You'll have less top speed, but you'll have more torque. And along with having more torque, you'll also have a bit better control. This has either 4.5 or 4.8 to 1 differentials. Back up a bit, go around this rock. Go. Whereas my normal crawler one has 6 to 1. Especially with bigger wheels, you'll want to change your ratios. This part in first person, I think. I'm also going to turn on the lockers. Get a bit easier. Some people will probably think I'm crazy for this, but when I get my real Jeep, I'm also going to make it remote control. Because why not? It's something I've been thinking about for years on how to get working and stuff, and I think I've figured out a way to do it pretty easily and reliably and safe. But we'll see. Tend to take the wrong way here. I believe the route that I want to take, I have to go right here. There we go. This should take me to the tricky spot I like to get up. That spot's a little tricky too, but not nearly like the spot that I like to go to. And like right here, I don't really need it in or low with lockers. It should be fine in 4 high. That's another thing. Using low range, one thing you gotta keep in mind is when it's in low, everything before the transfer case has to spin much faster for it to get speed, which can technically wear things out faster, cause more heat. So yeah, like I mentioned, just kind of do what you think is best for the scenario. You don't want to heat up or kill your clutch, like burn it out or anything, or your torque converter, but you also don't want to waste fuel over revving and stuff. Eventually, once I get better at modding, I'm going to, unless the devs get to it first, I will be making a four-door version of this. There's already a four-door version on the repo, but it's not the greatest. It only uses the stock stuff because of how long ago it came out, and it's just got a few issues. It's a good mod, but it needs some updating and stuff. In my mod pack, I do have a different stock steering. It's all the same linkage and stuff, but I've changed the strengths and whatnot of it to hopefully get it to the not like bend and break and stuff is easy, but it's a little finicky still. Alrighty, so now we go left and through this little tight spot. I'm gonna grab a handful of popcorn. So, popcorn's wonderful. And then I'm also going to open my monster, so this might be a little bit loud. I can get my finger under the tap. Okay. Here we go. Loudness over. Yeah. I would love to be in a group of people, even if I'm not the one leading, if I'm following someone else. I would love to be in a group of people and just watch everyone take each obstacle one by one and help do spotting and stuff. Now, this part is kind of based on your vehicle, I guess. Excuse me. My main normal crawler that I use, I'll show it really quick. I've used it in a few videos, but my normal crawler here, and then the Park Ranger one, can go over here to the right. I'll hop out really quick and go. They can make it to the right over here and crawl up it no problem. But as you can see, getting around the corner can be a bit of a pain, and keeping everything level and not rolling over can be a pain in the butt. So, second. So, if you have smaller wheels like I have in this moment, I would recommend going up to the left. Try and keep it level. Nice and slow, and easy. Oops. Really starting to kind of roll over. But come up to the left. And then try and get yourself up on top of this rock here. Turned a little too early before. There we go. This is where a rear dig would come in handy, but oh well. Being high-centered on this one rock is kind of helping. You just kind of turn. But yeah, you come up here, turn like so, and then just work your way over. You can't get up that part, the other way is much easier. We are almost at the one tricky spot that I like to go to. Right here is just a little tight. You work my way up this rock here. Oh. Placement of the rocks here in this little area can be a bit of a pain in the butt. But, oh well. And it gets really narrow here again. Kind of straddle it and get the rock sliders to slide along. Gotta stay over to the right. Crawl up over here. Excuse me again. Yeah. I would love to be able to put fuel injection and like a little turbo or something on this inline 6. There's a forged turbocharged inline 4 mod, but it kind of lacks torque. And weirdly enough, in the older Jeeps, the early 2000s ones, I know for sure, the inline 6 is actually heavier and bigger than a V8, which is kind of weird. But with the Hopper, if you think about it, it's almost a mid-engine vehicle with the way the engine is placed, because it's in between the front and rear axles. Front engine vehicles are typically in between the front wheels or in front of, and this is in between the front and rear wheels, which gives it a very good center of gravity. Which is another thing with rock crawling, is you want to have a very good center of gravity, so not too high, and then a little bit of weight towards the front, I feel is usually better, but not too much. Spare tire hanging off the back can sometimes cause some weight issues. That's another reason I have the half doors on and without the roll cage, or the roof, is so I can have a bit better weight placement on the front end. Unlock the diff so I can get around the corner. This is the spot that I was talking about. You have to kind of crawl up that one spot over there that can be a little bit difficult to get up into this section. And then you've got this really tight corner that is super, super easy to roll on. So I'm going to quickly move back over to the right a little bit and set a home spot just in case I do roll and smash up everything. Get myself lined up to where I like to be, which is right about here. Lock my differentials again. Oops, that's reverse. And then try and smoothly get up this. If you get the right line with this, you can just nice and smoothly crawl up it. But it can also be a major pain in the butt to get up here. Which it looks like, uh-oh. Yeah. I knew that was gonna happen. Shut the engine off. I didn't really cause any damage on that. It just kind of flopped over, so I'm going to roll it back onto its wheels and keep going. That's another thing. If you roll on your roof or on your side or anything, if you just roll in general, it's typically a good idea to shut the engine off as quickly as you can so that it doesn't starve of oil and get all damaged inside. When you roll back over, it'll probably smoke a bit from getting oil in the top where it shouldn't be, but it'll be fine. Roll back over, check the fluids and stuff. Don't have to in this, but check all the fluids and stuff. Check for major damages, and in some cases you can just keep going. For some reason right now, see, there we go. The right line, you just crawl right up. For some reason I'm thinking of a video I saw online of people like off-roading at a beach. And instead of, normally lining up, slowly dropping down this wall, they're like going down a little cliff thingy. Instead of just lining up, slowly dropping the front end down, and then giving it gas when the back end lifts into the air to keep it from rolling, for some reason this complete idiot gets out of his truck, puts it in neutral, or it was in drive, one of the two, and pushes it off. And of course, it goes down the little wall and flops on its roof, completely crushing it. No roll cage or anything, just crushes it. And it was such a nice Toyota Helix. Like, it looked like there was nothing wrong with it before he did this, and he just carelessly and stupidly destroyed it. And it made me so sad and so angry that someone would be so dumb to do that. Like, if he would have just carefully, like I mentioned, slowly dropped the front end off, slowly went down, and then once the back end started going in the air, just used 4 high and then floored it, it would have been fine. And the truck wouldn't have been damaged, but he completely destroyed it and wrote it off. This part is much harder than that lower spot. It's really hard to stay on a good line without sliding. I usually end up falling off to the right. Suspension also doesn't want to settle for me. Another reason I like having the winch on the front end is it adds weight in front of the front wheels, helping to keep the front end down. And then another thing you can do is Ooh, actually, I might do that and see if it helps. I don't like it when I get up here. Another thing you can do is either have like, ooh, there we go, and we're up. Is either have air ride, which has its own benefits and downsides, but um, use the winch on the front axle to squish it down, compress your suspension, and then going up the hill might be a bit easier, which I'm tempted to try. Try it once I get up here. And then getting up the rest of this isn't too hard, it's just really narrow, especially at this first bit. I'll switch to a different vehicle at some point too. I have a roamer that I really like crawling in. Oh, it's pretty much smooth sailing from here up. Or smooth crawling, I guess. Come on. Another thing I could do a mod for in the future is ballast weight. Add a bit more weight to the front end of this. I would love to switch the light bar to an LED light bar. You can put LED bulbs in the normal lights, but I'd love to do a custom bumper and like custom light bars and stuff at some point. Come on. I think I have to move a bit over to the right. Hopefully without rolling again. It just really wants to stay to the left. Bit of momentum might help here. There we go. And up we go. Oop. Carrying a bit more speed up here than I would like to. Come on. Ah, really? And down we go. Right. I should be able to just flip it back over again, because that wasn't a horrible roll. A little high-centered now, but lost my spare tire. There's also a mod for tie-down straps, which you could probably use for helping towing and stuff if you want to do this, like, really realistic. Winch onto another person's vehicle or use the straps for like a static pull and whatnot. Come on, don't roll this time. I don't have the front sway bar in so it can flex better, but it just doesn't want to settle where I want it to. And then there's times like right now where riding the brake a little bit can help a lot too. Go. Here we go, at the top of this part, not quite at the top of the mountain, but that is the most difficult part done. Here on out, it's just a couple ledges, and I think there's a couple tight spots, but that's about it. And once I get down the other side, I will switch to a different vehicle. Something a bit more challenging. Or I could just fix this one and keep going for a bit. The rock bouncer would be pretty fun to drive for a bit, but it has a few issues. The big, putting really big tires on it, they get stuck on the chassis and cause issues, and then the weight distribution on it isn't the greatest. Can I get the tire carrier to lock back into place? Nope. It's just gonna keep flopping around. Went a little faster than I should, but whatever. That rock just over to the right there is the very tippy top, I believe. I'm just gonna slowly work my way over there. Gently crawl over here. And there we go. That is the top of both of the main mountains. Quite a ways to go just crawling. And like I said, some people just don't like how long it takes because it's been like an hour already. But, oh well. I enjoy it. Rock crawling for me is, in a sense, one of those things that I can somewhat mindlessly do, and it just distracts me from everything. Oh, don't roll. And there goes the oil pan, even though it probably shouldn't have. That's another thing I'd like to do, is make a different skid plate for this, or a couple skid plates that cover the bottom better. And that's an issue that the rock bouncer has. I think it's called the rock basher, but whatever. Um, it's even though it has a skid plate right under the engine, it is way too easy to take out the oil pan on it. Back over here to the road I came up on. And it's over there. Slowly work my way back down. Oh, who joined? Server should be direct connect only, so it's someone in the Discord server. Oh, awesome. I should go down and meet up with them. Are they? Have they loaded in yet? I don't see their name yet. Carefully ride the brakes. There we go, now you're in. Where are you? According to the devs, this is only a level 2 trail, but almost rolled. But I would consider this part almost a level 3. Maybe it is just a level 2, it's not too difficult. It's another thing I like about how they did Johnson Valley is there are rocks here and there that show the path and so on. F it again. Maybe it didn't load. I set my ports and stuff, so it should work. Check the log thingy really quick. Uh, do, do, do. Huh. I don't know. Engine's running out of oil now. I forgot that I took out the oil pan. That's another thing with crawling, is if you're on a severe angle, you can end up having issues with the oil pickup in the oil pan, sump, whatever you want to call it. Which way do I want to take? And then same with the fuel if your level gets too low. So often, upgrading or changing the location of certain things like that can be a good idea. Looks like they're trying to load in again. It could just be having issues. Interesting. I will send them a message. It could potentially be my mod. Really, Discord, stop being weird. Having issues. Question. If I have to, I will reload the server without my mods in it, because it isn't technically in properly. It doesn't have the... It only has the main files in it. It doesn't have the repo file that tells the game what mod it is and stuff, so that could be an issue. And if I have to do that, I do have an unmodded version of this that I can use. It's starting to overheat. So that's one thing I don't get. If I took out the oil pan, put a hole in it, and I'm running out of oil, how is said oil overheating? That just doesn't make sense to me. And another thing really quick, if you hear a weird noise in the background, my mom is sewing upstairs, so it's just the sewing machine. Yeah, it looks like it's not working right. Oh, park. Would also... I'm going to remove my mod pack really quick. Which means I have to back out and close the server really quick. But that is okay. See Windows, program file, Steam, Beam apps, common, Beam server, resources, client, and then mine needs to be removed. And I will relaunch it. Oops. Go. Oops. Multiplayer. Correct. And in. Okay, hopefully that works. I will switch to I'm gonna try my roamer because I haven't rolled with it in a while. This is the one that I made in my tuning series. I just did a little bit more work on it. And it's built to just be a straight up crawler. Can I put half doors on the front though? Or on it in general? Body, door, no. No half doors. Since this runs off the same, most of the same stuff as the D series, I can probably add half doors to it, but oh well. The roamer would be pretty cool with the crawler suspension stuff under it. Lock the differentials, 1 to 4 low. Hopefully now that my mod is not in, it works. More throttle and stuff to come up here. I'm probably not going to drive this thing for very long. I highly prefer the hopper. It's just, like I said before, grew up in a Jeep and stuff, so it's way more preferred for me. Hopefully it actually, like, loads and stuff. I'm going the wrong way. Am I? Yes. The other two mods that are in the server are... Oh, I guess it's not working. Are on the repo, but Once I have my mod pack to a spot that I'm happy with, I will upload it. But I also typically don't really use mods. So who knows when it'll actually be done. This thing could use some more tuning, probably a little stiffer springs or shocks on it as well. Its approach and departure angles are horrible. But as a crawler, it actually does pretty well. I'm quite surprised at how good the roamer is in a general sense. It is based off the D series, as I said, so the D series is crazy good. Super, super good, so it only makes sense for this to be good, but it'd probably be a bit heavier. Okay. I quickly whitelist them. Maybe it'll work. I'll probably get rid of the Cobalt Essentials stuff. I just wanted it so I could control the time and weather and stuff, but Drift Day was working, so I don't know what could be causing the issue. I'll probably switch back to my hopper in a minute too. I don't really like driving this thing. Yeah, it looks like they're still having issues. That sucks. I haven't changed any of the settings or anything. I will take a quick look at the settings. I'm also going to quickly throw my mod back in, I think. Should just be able to Control Z it back in. I'm pretty sure the mods go into client, but I will copy these into this as well. I know you can't see what I'm doing at the moment, but just doing a couple thingies. Yeah, it should be working. Wonder why it isn't. Looks like a memory issue on their end. That sucks. Beam is quite memory intensive. This thing is pretty good, but I just, like I said, highly prefer the hopper. This thing will get to the top no problem. I've done it a few times. And I'm going a lot faster than I typically do, just why not? Ooh, this part is a pain in the butt. I'm gonna restart the server in a moment so that I can use my hopper again now that I know it wasn't that causing issues. And I'm probably gonna go for a puff in a moment as well. I usually go more to the left, but this should be okay. I should put the tire pressure system and whatnot on the roamer as well. Oh. Yeah, the roamer is just as badass as the D series. This was such a bad line to take. But it made it up. For some reason, the D series suspension, I just love watching it even more than the crawler suspension, probably because of the extra drag link there. But it's a little on the weak side. I am going to restart again really quick. Just gotta quit this, go to the server, close the server, and then relaunch the server. So, and join back in. And yeah, it shouldn't be my mod causing issues. Alrighty. And now we are way off to the side. I have a crawler version of this too, which I'll probably play around with at some point, but it's not the greatest. I'm just gonna hop back into this because I like it so much. And then there's the normal version. It's the same, just without the crawler suspension on it. Ready. As before, I'm going to take the roof off. I used to love crawling in the Jeep without the roof and doors on it. And then switch to the fabric half doors. I think that's all I have to do. Oh, not reset. There we go. And then it should be fine. And for moments like this is why I put the TPMS system in it. Because then while I'm on the road, getting somewhere, driving around, I can have 30 or so PSI in the tires. And then once I get to where the crawling is, just quickly air down and good to go. Then having my 6-speed in this is quite nice too. I just wish the half doors had mirrors on them. I think the normal half doors still have the mirrors on them, but these don't. And only being the normal 6-cylinder, it's kind of slow. But, oh well. Makes for a great crawler. Get a good feel for how far out the end of the map is when you're driving a slower vehicle. I'm used to doing like 200 or more along here when I come out this far. I'll just use cruise control. I also need to work on the alignment a little bit, apparently. And then if the engine had more torque, it wouldn't be running at 2500. It's not even in 6th gear right now, I can tell. But once I get back to the Dune Kicker camp thingy, not Dune Kicker camp, but you know what I mean, I will run for a quick smoke. I only have half at a time, so it shouldn't take too long. Another thing I'd like to do, especially now that I have a separate dash, is put in custom gauges. I like analog gauges with the needle and whatnot, but I'd like to change the colors and stuff. Easy on the brakes. I wish Beam had a map that was better for cruising on. I miss playing the crew and just cruising around. You could cruise for hours and not hit the same road twice, but on Beam the typical map is, I believe, 2.4K by 2.4K. So cruising around isn't all that great. Alrighty, I will park over here for a moment, and then run and have my puff really quick. Park back where I started the stream. And act square or rectangular? This is rectangular. Oh, interesting. I will turn this way then. Here we go. Actually fits this way. Alrighty, I'm gonna hop out and switch to the proper thingy too. I prefer using the snowman. I don't know why, I just do. But yeah, I will... On the video, it still looks purple. Does this, OBS is showing it as blue? So maybe it's just the compression or something that's making it look purple. Either way, um, I will be back in just a moment. I shut the engine off, right? Yes, okay. Yeah. I will be back within... Why is it still showing as the BeamNG? I want Snowman. There we go. Alrighty. I shall be right back. I need to make little pictures and stuff for when I take a little break, but either way. 1 minute, or a couple minutes, I don't know. Okay, I am back. Oops, it's not showing properly. No. Oh, I can't wait to quit smoking, but with everything I've been through the last couple of years, I can't help it. Alrighty, back to the crawling funness. I'm going to change the time of day a little bit because why not? I tend to like it being a bit earlier in the morning. Go with 7:30. I'm going to where do I want to go? I'm going to go back to the I forget what it's called. The remote pits, I think they are, and start from that end this time. A bit of a drive, but that's okay. It'll give me a good chance to watch the suspension moving and see if I need to stiffen or loosen or whatever, soften, anything. Like I mentioned before, the shocks, the main compression rate dampening could be a bit stiffer, but especially on the front. I think all I did was stiffen the springs when I added the winch. I didn't stiffen the shocks any. I'm going to do that really quick. Just stiffen them a couple notches. I think I'll just go by 2. The rebound should be okay. I should try crawling the Baja version. See how that goes. It only has it has a limited slip in the rear and then locking in the front since it's vanilla. But I could make a variant with my mods in it. That would be quite nice. And yeah, the slightly stiffer compression, it's a bit better. I also need to nudge the steering to the right a little bit, which is down here. Let's try to much better. Two might be too far. Nudge it back down to 1. Oh. There we go. There are, like right here, many places you can go up into the mountains. Actually, I will take this way because I don't crawl around on this side much. I usually take the route that I showed, which is why I'm so good at doing that line and taking that route. Don't really get stuck or roll on it. But I'm not used to going up over here, so I'm going to go over here. Where's the mouse? Come on. Oh, it's stalled. Really? Interesting. Alright. I'm going to go into for low, lock the diffs. Gently crawl up. Sun peeking over the mountain looks kind of cool. Oh, I need to lower the tire pressure as well. Go back to about 8 psi. Let the tires flatten out and go around the rocks a little bit. Better traction. That's where bead locks come in handy. Normal wheels, there's a little lip on the inside around the outer edge, and then the tire has a little lip around the inner edge that kind of locks it in and holds it in place once the air is in it. But if you put too much pressure on the sidewall or don't have enough air pressure in them, you can break that seal, you can break the bead, and lose all your tire air pressure. A bead lock uses a plate on the outside of the wheel and bolts, as you can see, to lock it into place or squish it so it doesn't do that. I don't know which way I want to take. I'll probably go left first. I'm unzipping my sweater. Yeah, let's go left first. And as I mentioned before, there's little marks here and there to kind of show you different trails and stuff. I know I could use the Minimap app, but I would much prefer to have the GPS inside it. I'll get that working eventually. This area is... I don't think I've ever actually climbed up here before, so this is quite new to me. So I'll probably just take it slow, take my time, go easy. I might have come down here at some point, but I don't remember ever climbing up here. It's too bad my dad doesn't have a computer in Beam, because this would be amazing to do with my dad. Getting a little hung up on the rear end, see if I can just drag it up. Oh, okay. Back up and pick a bit of a better line. Nudge myself over to the right a little bit. I should probably be over to the left more, but I can do that now. Oh. Ooh, another fork in the road. Which way to take now? Left. Looks like it goes back down that way, and then over there. And right, we come up here more. This looks like it'll be a bit more challenging. Ooh, this will be much more challenging. Let's go this way. Hopper looks so good sitting there. You. Oh. Ooh, Actually, F12 is not going to work because the Steam overlay for some reason doesn't work with BeamNG running, so game bar instead. Alrighty, let's go up to the right. Come on. Oh. Did I take off the front sway bar? I did not. I'm going to back up a little bit and remove this front sway bar. I might remove the rear sway bar as well, but I don't know. Typically having the rear sway bar is good, even crawling, and then removing the front one is helpful. Removing the rear sway bar can often give you way too much body roll. You know what? I am going to remove the rear one as well, just because. Then I have to lower the tire pressure again. Oops. The sway bars on this are also pretty soft. I believe the front one is only 10,000 and the front one's 10 to 15,000 and the rear one is 5,000. I think this does it in Newton meters. But yeah. Like I mentioned before, it's primarily a rock crawler and then I made it nice for the road as well. Alrighty, looks like we can either continue to the left or go up to the right. Oh, got to watch the differentials again too. I have come through here before. I believe left goes to a bit of a clearing that can be a bit difficult to navigate. Not exactly sure where right goes. But I'm going to go left first. Looks like that bit of road just kind of curves back around. So I'm going to go up this spot. It's more fun. As I smack the front axle on a rock. Ooh. Nice and gentle. I should go up there. Looks like to go down here, I want to go over to the left. And then over there, I'm pretty sure, is the clearing I was talking about. But I'm going to go to the right first. Not a problem at all. I can't tell. Okay. Looks like it curves a little bit to the left and then continues up that way. Surprised this is only rated as a 2. This actually might have been the way I was coming down earlier. Oh. I'm going to go a little bit more to the right. Going carefully. Here we go. Ride the brakes a little bit, keep the front end from lifting. But yeah, I was gonna try and stick the winch onto the front axle too. See if that works. What buttons is it? Y and T. Y should be, and T is out. Nope, that's crucible. Shift T, okay. Oh. See if I can stop wiggling so much. Get this to link onto axle. Hopefully, right middle. So, and then that'll keep the front end squished down if I need it. Or just kind of let it do its own thing. Hopefully, that doesn't get snagged on anything. Alrighty. Looks like I need to move a little bit more to the left and then come over to the right. Getting a wheel in the air like that in this isn't that big of a deal, but lifting a wheel in real life like that is so much fun and can be kind of scary at times. That's another thing with rock crawling is there's times that it can be so scary. You can come so close to rolling, if not just blatantly rolling. And yeah, I think this is the way I took to come down. So I'm going to turn around, go back down that way, and take the other route. See where it goes. I should probably unlock the differentials to turn around. Go. Gently my way back down. Another nice thing with using automatic for crawling, what is stuck, is the winch messing me up. It probably is. Oh, uh-oh, don't roll. That was close. Real life, that would have been kind of scary because that is quite a tumble. I was going to say something before that, but I completely forget what it was. Front end is stuck on the rock again. Oh, automatic. Having an automatic transmission can be pretty nice because when you're going downhill, you can kind of use the compression of the engine to stop you from going too fast. You can do that with a manual too, and you probably have more control doing it with a manual, but you can also burn out the clutch pretty quickly. Yeah, I think I need to go to the right. Watch where the front wheels are going. And that trail marker is a little hidden. Alrighty, back down this way. Probably not gonna stream as long today as I did during the drift one. Especially since no one's joined in yet. Everyone's probably busy today. Should also check my messages really quick. Oh, don't roll. That was a little close. Once I get down to the bottom here, I will check my messages. Up that way. I'm not entirely sure where it goes, but I know I've gone that way before. Yeah, no messages, okay. I'm going to use the free cam for a moment to kind of check out where I'm going. So this way just kind of goes up and over. There's a couple different paths I can take that way. This way will let me go back down that way, or up and over. Ooh, that's the area that I was talking about before. So I'm going to go this way, to the left. And check out the little area that I mentioned before. Settle. I want it settle for me. There we go. Oh. Then make my way up this hill here. As long as I can avoid hitting the differential off things. This one's gonna require a bit of momentum and not getting the front end stuck, like I usually do. Put it in drive instead, and then try and stay to the right. Center now. Come on. Ah, I went to the middle a little too soon. I get myself off that rock? Yes. Awesome. Up we go. This part can be a little bit annoying. Which way do I want to take through here? I typically, excuse me, try and go all the way to the right and then come around this way because of my little tires, but we shall see. I'll probably just do that. In the hole. Come on, crawl out. I'm going to try and back up. Hopefully the front end isn't stuck. There we go. Get a bit of a better angle on this. This is where having a rear dig would be very helpful. I have a feeling the winch hanging down is causing some issues. No, don't roll. Oh, such a dumb spot to roll. No, I did not want to do that. I should be able to find where I was. The spot that I was talking about is right here, which means I was right here. I have begun to know this map way too well. Here we go. Alright, let's try this again. I need to air down my tires again. Nope. Ready, go all the way to the right. I could go straight through, but there's a bit of a hole there that will probably cause me some issues with such small tires. Can't get the angle that I'm trying to get either. No! Rolled again. See if I can turn a little bit while on the rock. There we go. Oops. Need to go a little bit more to the right. Up on top of that one. So. And I slid off into the hole. Of course. I can get myself unstuck without rolling. Nope. Well, maybe. Come on. Okay. Here we go. Trying to stay as far to the left as I can. There we go. And over. I'm now going to unlock the differentials so I can turn a bit tighter. Use parking brake to kind of lock up the rear end a bit and make it turn a tiny bit tighter. Doesn't work so well with limited slip differentials, but oh well. Gently drop down here. And now past that difficult spot. This part up here is likely one of the most difficult spots on this map. Because it's pretty much just a hole. Like, I don't know why they did this. To come up here, you practically have to jump up. And then, even going down, you pretty much just have to jump down it. There is another route that way that I think I've only ever taken once. You can drop off to the side, but that hole over there is pretty tight. Most of my vehicles don't fit through it. I'm going to see if I can drop down here. I'd like to go a bit straighter down it though. I have crawled up that little hole there too. But this is what I meant earlier. When I was talking about the Toyota Helix that the guy dropped off, crushed. It was all like sand and stuff, but it was going off a ledge kind of like this. And instead of doing what I'm about to do, by just gently dropping down the front end, and then Yep, hitting the throttle to keep it from rolling. It bounced because I turned the wheels, but instead of doing that, he got out and just pushed it down the hill, basically, let it go on its own. And because of doing that, it just flopped on its roof and crushed it. Like, it just pancaked it and destroyed the truck. That made me so mad. Like, that's the kind of person that should not be off-roading and does not deserve to have such a nice vehicle. It looked like a perfect condition Toyota Helix, like an 80s style, which is one of my favorite trucks, and it was just so dumb. Um, since that one point is so tight down there, I'll go down there really quick. Um, Typically I come up the other way from the remote pits, but yeah, as I've mentioned, this is really, really tight, and ooh, this just barely, barely squeezes through. My crawler with the bigger tires on it does not fit through there at all. Like, at all. Just kind of wiggle my way through here, and we're on the other side. But typically what I have to do, especially going the other way, is either climb up here where I'm looking, or I climb up right here and bypass it. But thankfully this is just low enough that it fits through. I'm going to try and go through again this way. And see if I can make it back up to where we came in. Ooh, this might take out the snorkel. Oh, just barely. Back end doesn't want to squeeze through. Come on. There we go. And it looks like I got no damage. Perfect. Well, there have been times where I've managed to climb up this rock pile here and kind of go up and around. But like I've said, typically you just kind of have to line yourself up here and either jump, or you can climb up where I went down, or you can kind of work your way up this little tiny valley thing here, which is what I'm going to try to do. If I can't, I might try and jump it, but I don't think this will have enough speed in that little area to do so. I could also use the winch and just pull myself up there, which is a much better idea. I've done this with the crawler variant, but not this one. Not the way I wanted to go, but I don't think this is going to work its way up through there. It's just the tires are too small. I could try going up this way, but I typically end up rolling when I do that. Ooh, I did mess up the rear axle going through that little narrow spot. You can see it's ever so slightly shifted. The rear right wheel is back further than the left one. So I'm going to quickly fix that. Of course, gotta deflate the tires again. Go. I'll try going this way first. As if I take the right line and manage to keep it level enough, it should be fine. And that right there is why I made the different transmission. Oh, don't roll. And find some grip. I have a feeling it might just be best to use the winch. But I've done this this way before, so I know I can. Uh-oh. Well then, I will just reset again. I'm going to quickly go into the tuning and just manually set it to 8 psi because it's just easier that way. That way I don't have to keep changing it. Alright, let's see if I can go up this way. A bit straighter. I should have turned left. It's also not locked anymore. There we go. Alright, let's see if I can get up this side. Stop trying to go right. Alright, looks like I might be able to get up here. Come on. Um, turn right and back up. Hopefully, yep, there we go. If I had $1 for every time I've rolled my vehicle on this map, just trying to find different ways to get around certain obstacles, I would have quite a bit of money. And I think yeah, I messed up the rear axle again too. It is so easy to break and bend parts while you're rock crawling. And there it goes again. I'll just reset this time. I'm going to go over here like I was going to in the first place, and I'll just winch myself up and over so that I can move on and get along that other trail. Uh-oh, almost rolled again. Oops. I hit V by accident. Come on. Alright, oops. My other hopper can usually climb up this. I have a feeling this won't. Another thing with like rock crawling and stuff, if you start bouncing like this, that's not a good idea. That can easily break parts, especially a drive shaft. So what we do is we go over to the free cam, hit the free spool, grab the winch hook, and bring it over here. I want to come this way. I'm going to tuck it behind this rock here. Hopefully this will work. And then for me, using the attached thing doesn't like to work. So I'm going to just kind of go like that. And then use Y, I think it was. Yep. And then the winch will help the front end not lift off the ground. It'll also kind of pull me up. So the winch hook isn't really staying where I wanted it to, but that's typical for this. Come on. Go. And then when you're winching, it's usually best to use the winch like I was and not completely rely on it to hold all the weight and stuff. Usually best to use it to assist you. That way you don't have there's a less chance of like breaking your winch line and whatnot. Less strain on the motor and everything. And there we go. We're back up. I'm going to turn and try and go up this way. How long have I been streaming for? That shouldn't be playing. Almost 2.5 hours. The Drift Day stream was like 6.5 hours. Excuse me. Well, I guess I could also just look at the time because I started at noon. Alrighty. Carefully work my way up here. Might need to give it a bit of a bump. So. And squeeze my way through. That's another thing I like about the hopper, especially this one that I've done up in particular, is it's small. So it can fit through some pretty tight places. Looks like the trail goes up here. I think I've only been up this path once before, so I'm not entirely sure where I'm going. I'll just kind of follow the markers. And typically there's markers that you can follow for going both directions, which is nice. They did very well on this map. I guess they had help from actual, like, Baja racers and rock crawler people and whatnot that gave them advice and tested it and whatnot to make sure it was actually proper and realistic. It was pretty cool. If it weren't for my anxiety, I would be racing with said people. But too anxious for that. I should have announced the stream on the Rough Country Crawlers server, like Discord server, and invited them. But I'll go for like another, I'll go until 3 or so, 3 hours, and then end the stream, I guess, since, you know, no one's watching. Alright, this goes up this way and then curves around to the left. I probably could go to the right as well, but oh well. Gently ease it down. Don't need to roll over and do a somersault. Righty, there we go. Around a little bit to the left. Bit nice and smooth and level. Avoid those bigger rocks over there. That probably would have been pretty fun to come down, though. That'd be pretty fun to go up. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, it's because something just fell upstairs. Um, that might be another path I can take, but I think I'm gonna go to the right. Excuse me. And work my way down to the bottom of the mountain. Yeah, that is another path, but I'm gonna go this way. Also, in real life, I would attach the hook for the winch onto one of the D-rings, or whatever they're called. That's not a D-ring, that's oh, I forget the name of it right now. Either way, I would attach the hook to one of those so that it wasn't, like, flopping around and stuff. Gently ease my way down. The hopper needs jerry cans. Maybe I'll make some jerry cans to put in the back of it. Or, there's already jerry cans in the game. I just see if I can make a mod that brings them over into the hopper. Make them a cargo option or something. I can't wait to start doing this for real again. It's gonna take a while to save for a Jeep, but once I do, I'm gonna start doing videos on that. General videos, upgrades, trails and crawling. I actually have some old videos on my channel. There's two of them, 4x4 1 and 2, 4x4 1 and 2. And it's from when I was like 7 years old. 7 to 10, I think. Stuff. Video we took out in the woods and whatnot. And my dad had his Jeep. Yeah, that's the bottom of this area. I'm gonna turn around and work my way back up. Because why not? Could go that way too, but I want to try and go back up this way. Actually, I'm going to see where that other way goes. This way... Ooh, this would be much, much more technical. It comes around here and then up this way. Maybe I will... Oh, it goes back to that way. Okay. So I just kind of did a loop. I'm gonna go back up this way and do the loop I just did, but in reverse. And then that'll probably take up half hour, and then I'll probably end the stream after that. Oh, too much throttle. Trying to remember exactly where this goes. Alright, back down this way. Have a sip of my monster. Try and drive with one hand. Gently work my way back up. Probably take it out of 4 low, or at least go into a different gear. Okay, almost back at that one spot where I take a right. I need to go right up here as well. Ooh, which way do I need to go? I gotta go back up that way or take the other one? I honestly don't know which way I need to go. This way comes around over to here. I'm gonna find that one spot, which is up here. It comes up and over and do along this way. It comes down. And along this way. Where am I? Ooh. I managed to be over there. I need to come way over here. So I need to take this first right. Try and do it in first person mode just because. I find it kind of funny how they even made it look like the paint dripped on the rocks. It just quickly sprayed on. we go. It was easy. Gotta take it slow because I can't see what I'm driving over. Alrighty, I believe both of these go to the same spot. It's just one's an easier route, one's a harder route. Once I get down to the bottom of this section, I believe, I will have to go left. I cannot get hung up on these rocks. Oh. Oh, hung up again. I'm kinda glad I took the rear sway bar off too, making it a little bit easier. I typically leave it on for a bit more stability, but when you're rock crawling, you want as much flex as you can get. Yeah, once I get down here, I need to take a left up that way. I don't remember coming up this way. How did I end up way over to the other side? I could go left right there, but I'm gonna go left here and make it a little bit more difficult, because why not? I have a habit of making things more difficult for myself than they need to be. Oh. Okay, okay. I believe I follow this around this way. Oh, go. Check Discord really quick. Oh, all good. And this should go left up here. Looks like there's an arrow up there pointing left. Yep. Okay. And this should go back to where I want to be. Looks like I can either go left or right here. I'm gonna have to check and see which way. It would be nice if I had the GPS up, but we're kinda wedged between two rocks at the moment. Go a little bit to the left. Oh. Make sure I didn't mess up the rear axle at all. Okay, I need to use free cam again and see where I'm going. Error on my computer. Okay, I think this way? No, I want to take this way. I'm so confused. How What way did I take before? To end up way over there. Either way, I gotta go left. Is this the way that I came down? I'm not sure. It might be. Kinda looks like it. Yeah, it is, because these are the rocks that I said would be fun to go up and down. I'm gonna try going up this way. And then I'll cut back over to the right onto the trail. Try and get a good look at where I'm going. Oh. Easy. If I have to, I'll back down to here, but I might be able to cut over up here a bit. Yep. Just continue going up this way. Oh. I believe I keep going this way, or do I have to go... Nope, gotta go right. That's the annoying thing with not having the map, is I can't really tell where to go, especially in first-person view. Now which way should I go? I think I need to go to the right now. Yes, to the right. Oh, last time I probably went this way. I don't know. No, I went down the way I just came up. What am I thinking? I just don't know how I ended up so far off track when all I did was go down and then turn around and come back up. Sun blinded me. I think I gotta turn to the right a little bit. And take a left. I don't like this angle. Nope. Should come back down between that narrow spot, just up here to the right. And keep the back suspension from unloading too much. Through this little narrow spot again. There we go. Well, I've never come through this way. Perfect. I'll go back up this way. might be a little difficult. Especially when we get back to that one certain spot. But it should be okay. If I go more to the left, this might be a bit easier. Oh. Yeah, we're back at this spot. Okay. I'm going to quickly hop out, take a look. This is that hole that I was talking about before. It's too narrow to squeeze through, so I'm probably gonna have to go back this way. Kinda take the way I took going the other way. Try and work my way up onto these rocks. That's another thing with rock crawling, is it's often a good idea to not get stuck in a hole. It's often a good idea to get out and look around and try to see what the best route is from a different perspective before you actually go for it. Alright, I need to try and keep the back end as far to the right as I can. This is where four-wheel steer would be so nice. Keep the back end all the way to the right. Be careful. Alright. Try to come up on this rock, and then the one to the right, and straddle them. Which that did not work at all. Come back over here and try again. Definitely a fine line between going too far to the right and not enough, but ooh, a little too much throttle, but that worked. And then just drop off this side nice and carefully. Like so. Much easier than going the other way. Back down this hill. There we go. We were just down there before, so I'm going to go back this way. I think this is the way I came up earlier. Go this way, then work my way back down to the bottom and probably end the stream. That's a fun way to go up, but I'm not gonna go that way right now. Probably next time I do a stream, a crawling stream. Yeah, I can go this way. Try and avoid that rock. Oop, or not. This is pretty steep. Be a nasty roll if I flip it at this point. Go down this way and just continue making my way back down to the bottom. Oh, don't roll. No, 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 no. Ooh, crap. And there it goes. Oh, I almost managed to save that. Hopefully that didn't do too much damage. The rear axle's a little twisted, it looks like. It's definitely twisted. Yeah, that's pretty bad. I'll just reset. There we go. I'm not too worried about resetting now, I'm pretty much done. Alrighty, there we go. Back into 4 high, unlock the diffs. We are back at the bottom. Here we have it. I guess that's gonna be the end of today's stream. No one's really watching, it looks like, and no one's joined in. Yan and Faye or Hunter Boots tried to join, but their computer wouldn't let them, so that sucks, but either way, if you watch this after the fact and continue watching up until this point, I thank you for watching. I'll probably better announce the next stream I did, that would definitely help. I did a bit more planning on the drift day. And, yeah. Usual, hope you enjoyed, and thanks for watching.